Bit after the time, so I guess we'll get started. I don't want to see if anyone else will show up. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Really appreciate it. It's a cold night, it's late, but we needed an opportunity to talk about the project, get any concerns from you folks who live there, and I really appreciate you coming out. I'm Jerry Jackson with the City of Flint Wastewater Department. We've got representatives from Walsh and Kelly, Hermaticino, and Justin Hillary. They'll build the project. Chip from Nice Engineering and Joe Peters is here. I'm Jerry Jackson, the superintendent of wastewater. Todd Taylor is back there. Nick is here. Nick Minnick, city engineer's here. Project Galloway is around somewhere, councilman. So that's the cast of people in the project. Just to talk about the project a little bit, because I've been thinking about it for a long time. We'll finally get it. Monroe Manor was built in '52, South Haven on the other side of Boyd was built in '63. These next two are important to the project because we had to have a storm sewer to get to Monroe Manor. The storm drain back in Lake Drain back in '99 comes up, it doesn't get quite all the way. And then in 2011 we extended it. You can see the big 60-inch trunk that cuts across the east side of the golf course. That's where the water will eventually go when we do the storm sewer work. The pipe coming across up in the yellow Monroe Manor shape there, that's what was extended in 2011. So finally there's a new storm sewer to the neighborhood, so we can build new storm sewers and get decent drainage for the neighborhood. Long time coming. Here's the topics we're going to talk about tonight. I'd encourage you, if you got questions, interrupt me and ask questions, because meetings work better that way, and you certainly will have things I haven't thought of. First, this phase, and I'll show you here real quick. There, okay. There's the first phase of this job inside the neighborhood. The storm sewers come off of Longdale, the new storm sewers on Longdale down by Monroe Street. So we have to start at that end so that the storm water has somewhere to go. And the Oakdale kind of provides the trunk to build storm sewers up all the north-south, Eastwood, Lawndale, Parkview, Glenview, the north-south streets. So we have to start on this end because that's where the existing storm sewers are to give us somewhere to hook to provide drainage. Here's what we're going to do in the project. Here's the plan. We'll place all the water lines. You got a little cast water lines. I'll come through each one at a time. Sewer lines, the sanitary sewer lines we replace. New storm sewers, all the sidewalks, the curbs, the roads, and the driveway entrances. So it's a complete rebuild of all the roads and all the infrastructure underneath the roads. Resident access is a concern. You're there. You're going to have to get in and out each day, go to work, come home. While the crew is moving down the road, you're going to have backhoes, trucks. There'll be a lot of activity going on, and at times they'll be in front of your driveway, putting in new pipe, putting in a new curb, putting in new gutter. At times they'll be in your way. They'll strive to make sure that you can get close. Make sure you get garbage and mail service, all those sort of things. There's going to be some disruptions, but in the end, you should have nice streets, nice infrastructure. I think it would be worth it. If anyone has special needs like medical oxygen deliveries or getting out to a doctor's appointment, we'd really like to know so that we can plan for that, so that you're not disrupted for something critical like that. Tell us up front. You'll see the construction crew coming your way, but you can email us and tell us up front, let us know what the issues are. For the sewers, right now the neighborhood has combined sewers. The storm sewer and the sanitary sewer is the same thing, and they're not nearly large enough. The whole neighborhood is drained through one 18-inch pipe. We rerouted it when they did the Monroe much better when we're done. You'll have a separate storm sewer and a separate sanitary sewer the way conventional construction is done. Right now, the neighborhood after a rain, you'll see water stands and stands and stands. That, you may briefly in intense rain have some water standing, but it'll go away very quickly. It will be much better. The other thing you'll notice is that the streets in the neighborhood are very, very flat. So you have puddle that sit and collect debris. When we're done, the streets will actually drain down to the storm drains in a normal fashion, and those puddles will go away. There won't be puddles, so that'll be a big improvement. For the water services here, and Todd Taylor's here, he can talk about a little bit more if there are questions. Right now there's cast iron pipes. The cast iron pipes will be replaced with ductile iron pipe, which is a higher grade pipe, stronger, tougher, less likely to break. The water services will be, new water service will be brought from the main up into the property line with a new shutoff valve. So they'll be up on the edge of your property doing that. They'll build a new system and then disconnect you from the old system and connect you to the new system. So the outages should be very brief during the transition from the old water system to the new system. Same goes for the sewer. You shouldn't really notice any disruption at all in sewer service. Just to kind of show you, it'll be the area will be completely removed and replaced from the back of the sidewalks to the back of the sidewalks. So all the sidewalks, all the curb, all the gutter, all the road will all go away and then come back after we replaced all the water, sewer, storm sewer pipes under the road. The sidewalks, I went looking at some trees that people liked and wanted to keep. The trees along the roads have have brought the sidewalks up, so they're uneven, same with the curbs. And when you dig and you put in pipes, you tend to tear out all the roots involved with to keep the tree alive. So generally, the trees have to go. They would die after we're done if we didn't take them out. So the trees will be removed between the curb and the sidewalk, and then they'll be put back. I'll talk a little bit more about trees later. The sidewalks will be a foot wide, wider than the current ones. I think the current ones are 4, and they'll be 5 foot wide, which is what the ADA standard is. There'll be handicap ramps so you can get up and down easier. Yes?
What if you don't have any sidewalks right now?
The plan is to put sidewalks everywhere, so everyone's got sidewalks.
I have a question.
Yes?
Can we have it like Monroe Manor or Monroe Street? Them kind of sidewalks?
There'll be a tree lawn between. Those are right up against the road. There'll be a green tree lawn in between. Is that the question, or?
I was hoping there wasn't a green strip. It makes it so much easier.
The green strip, the only thing that I see about not having a green strip is you get all the road debris up on the sidewalk, and generally it puts the pedestrians right up next to the road where the cars are going by. So
You'll never be able to keep them clean in the winter time.
Put a little green strip in between.
Are you gonna have the high curb, or are you gonna have the low curb like there is now?
It'll be the vertical curb, the vertical
it'll be
curb.
Standard
Yeah.
curb?
6-inch curb.
6 inch. Other questions? Oh, and I didn't really talk about the driveway. The driveway replaces to your property line, the driveway entrances rather, to your property line will be replaced, put back in concrete, so you'll have a smooth drive off the road into your driveway. And there'll be, a flare as you've seen that matches up with the curb. I talked a little about the trees. The city's got an ordinance that says that we'll replace 2 trees for every one we pull out. Sometimes that's not practical. You've got utilities in the way that you don't want to put a tree over. Sometimes there's things in the way, telephone poles, mailboxes, all sorts of things. So we'll replace what trees we can. We're going to ask your input, a list of trees. Here's the trees I'd like to have, and maybe where you want them. The trees that are above the two or above 1-for-1 that we can't replace, we'll put in park, adjacent in the park. If there's room there, and if we run out of room there, we'll put them in the nursery and put them on the next project.
But you won't no trees.
Yeah.
Tell us you don't want any trees, we're gonna put out a form, and I know sometimes, people don't want trees, and there's often good reasons for not wanting trees.
Yeah, that's my share of problem with trees, so I don't know.
Where we can put back trees, we will, but we're gonna ask for everyone's opinion, what they want, and what type of tree. There's a list of trees that the city has that shouldn't disrupt the sidewalk, shouldn't disrupt the curb, shouldn't cause you problems in your sewer. So we're trying to put back the right trees. In a lot of places in LaPorte, the wrong trees, the maples that tear everything up, we're gonna try to avoid that problem. During the, if you've got an issue getting out, whatever the issue is, you can talk to the construction crew that's on site. There'll be a construction manager, an inspector, who will represent the city and keep watch over the work. We haven't hired that person yet, or I'd have his name and number up there, but we'll distribute that. That's probably the easiest person who understands the whole scope of the thing and can get to the right person quickly. Myself, Todd Taylor, Nick, they're on the list. If there are particular issues for water, sewer, or something the city engineer needs to talk about. Those contact numbers are all in that handout. So if things come up and you need us, give us a call. We keep the information, try to update this website. You can get through the menu on the City of LaPorte site. You go to wastewater, and there's a link to take you to Monroe Manor. I do a lot of emails, so feel free to email. We can talk back and forth via email. If you email me, I'll probably get the construction manager involved, because he'll be the guy right there on site every day, all day, and he can probably solve your problem first, but I'd like to hear from you if there's an issue. Going back to that, let me go back to that page drop. There's, when we're done with this phase, the 2016 phase, there's a lot of street and a lot of subdivision left. We're gonna go through and finish the job, and to fund it, we're gonna ask the city council to create a stormwater district. And that will be, no one will like it, but you gotta spend money to fix problems. It'll be a new line item on your sewer bill. We're gonna go to the front of the city council and say we want to start a stormwater district. About 2/3 of cities have a stormwater district now to pay for this sort of thing. And so early this year, middle of this year, we're gonna ask for that additional funding. And then, once we have an idea what that level of funding is, we can give you a schedule when we're gonna march down the rest of the streets.
Haven't we already been paying money on our water bill?
Absolutely.
What has that been going towards then?
Well, for example, let me go to that
We
page.
passed the rate increase on the sewer just to get this here going.
Okay.
That's what that rate was for. I think we passed it last year.
Yeah,
We didn't have any money.
the sewer rate, the cost of the project, the 2 million first phase, we bonded using that rate increase. If you look at it, it's about $350 per household for everyone in the whole of the city is spending toward this project. So it's a significant project, somewhere around $45,000 per address in this project. So for us, this is a big project, difficult to fund. So yes, you already have been paying on it, but it's not sufficient to keep going and do the whole neighborhood.
I just wondered what that money was, if it was going towards this.
Well, it is, and there's 2 other projects involved in this, in that bond. There's a sewage pumping station we're replacing, and then there's a sewer that runs down under the beach in Pine Lake we're gonna replace. So that bond issue pays for those 3 projects. This one is the largest. Any other questions? Yes?
Why are we waiting till the middle of this year to ask for that? We knew about this project in the spring last year.
It takes time to get things done. We did the bond issue, that had to go through the council, got the plans done. It just takes time to get things going. This is a really big project for the city, and to fund almost $5.5–6 million to do it is really large. So that it takes some time for us to we could do it all at once, but everyone would be very unhappy with their sewer rates. They would go up pretty dramatically.
So as far as the second phase, may not happen this year? I mean,
No, that area I had, let me go back. This is the phase that will happen this year. What's
That'll happen
what's
this year.
blue.
okay.
And then, once we get our funding secured with the stormwater district, then I'll be able to give you a schedule when we're gonna start doing the rest of the streets.
So we wouldn't work.
Yes,
How many phases is it going to be?
it will depend somewhat on the rate of funding. It may be one street a year, maybe 2 streets a year, I'm not sure.
What's the goal to have it completed by?
As quickly as possible, but it's gonna depend how much I can talk the council into giving us funding wise. The city planner, when I first got here back in the middle 90s, this was something that she wanted to do, so I can tell you how long it's been coming. I'm glad to see it's finally started. Yes?
How many years has it been since they did the Monroe Street and this was supposed to follow? 7?
I don't know what
Monroe Street was a state project way back, I think if that's what you're mentioning. This is something completely different.
But wasn't that supposed to help the Monroe Manor situation?
We redid these combined sewer at that time, and it did help some, although not nearly enough.
Yes,
But
sewers required out there, as Jerry showed, that, I don't know if you remember way back when they built that big sewer through the golf course.
I do.
When they-
I lived
yes.
there.
Well, that took care of a big portion just to the west of you. And then when Monroe Manor went through, they did some sewer fixing over there that helped out, but it wasn't quite what you needed. So the little line that he showed earlier, that 36-inch coming off of that 60-inch, that was the sewer that needed to get into place, like the trunk of a tree. Now we have to build the branches.
This piece here is.
Yeah, so that needed to get in there. What was there before and what they did on Monroe Manor and the state project was not adequate for what your subdivision actually needed to drain. It's a very big area, it's very flat, and there's a lot of water coming that way, traveling a very long way, so it just took some time to get all of those pieces in there to get where we're at now. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm glad you jumped in. Other questions?
Yeah, won't this first phase really help with draining as it is before they get the other ones done?
It will, because it'll take a big load off the combined sewers.
Yes, I mean, we're doing separation, and that separation is, you should see difference. I mean, right now, every raindrop and every flush of your toilet, everything from your sink is all going into one pipe, and that pipe is only this big. Now we've got much bigger pipes that is going to be dedicated to the rainwater, leaving what you already have just for your water use out of your house, so it's going to help tremendously. It won't be completely separated, but building that larger portion of the trunk, actually like the biggest branches of the tree we're building, sewer-wise, that's going to take a lot of that rainwater away. It should help tremendously.
Yes?
Question to add on to that, is it true or false that Parkview sewer drain is collapsed at this point in time?
Not that I'm aware of. Parkview is, are we, what's the?
That's the first half that you're doing on the first phase? The first part of the street there, that's where the
Yes.
collapse would be?
It's, where the storm drain's at there, it's the kind of the low spot in the neighborhood, so there's an awful lot of water that goes there, and if it's gonna pond somewhere, that is the spot. So, that's why if you look at,
Yeah, you're doing the first portion of the street.
there you go, that's why we're coming up to where all those storm drains are at, because that's the worst problem, I believe, in the neighborhood as far as drainage.
Right.
So and it's not far off our main trunk line, we can fold it into this project. So yes, that's why that piece is there. Yeah, yes,
Like our driveways, my water and sewer both run through my driveway. Will we be digging that driveway up to replace that, or will we try and do it from the street?
they run through your driveway, we'll come over to the property line. We'll have to look at that.
Typically, the street has a right-of-way line, and it's a little dash line you see on there. That's where the street right-of-way line, and it would be the face of your property. Typically, the water service and the sewer services will come up to about there, and usually it's within a foot or so, and then your sanitary lateral and your water main and around there. So we won't be coming onto your property, but we'll be coming up to your property to connect to it. So the driveway apron that we'll be putting in for you, that all will probably happen right about that right-of-way line, around where that walk will be, and I think the walks are put back. So that'll happen all underneath. Your old pipe will meet the new pipe under your new driveway, most likely, or within a foot or so.
We may locate the B-box according to the water department's wishes, maybe next to the driveway and then come back towards it.
I have no problem with doing it, you know.
What's your thought on that? Would you rather be accessible to the truck, the B-box, or would you rather be in the middle of the driveway?
I think it's, just depends on the accessibility. You want that, you really, if you can, you try to get the shutoffs in a place where the vehicle tires aren't gonna go over it and compress it and cause a problem.
Same for the sewer.
Sometimes it'll be case by case to put it in the best place, and it may be a little bit of a relocation, and then a lateral, then a little bit of a bend to get to tie to the existing line.
Same for the sewer clean out. If you weren't driving over the sewer clean out, that'd probably be better too.
Yeah.
So I'll
It
look
runs
at
right
that.
down the driveway. Both of them.
We'll have to take a look at it when we get to it.
Yeah, if you could,
We will decide on the best for the city, keeping it maintained, and for the resident. I mean, we'll use common sense and best for both.
and what's the address, you don't mind?
205 Lawndale.
We'll take a look at it. We can look at the drawing here and see how it's drawn down.
I think my neighbor runs too. I know his water thing's in his driveway. I'm not sure about his sewer.
Other questions? We've got the drawings up here and the construction set is over here. So you can come over and look at your address and ask questions about it in particular. We'll hang around and talk to everyone who wants to talk, long as you got questions.
If I may reiterate this, if you know anybody who's elderly, or if you know, I've been on projects where we've had older couples who had to get to a doctor appointment and were too afraid to ask anybody, and they missed that doctor. And all they had to do was say to the resident representative or somebody, I need to get out of my driveway. The contractor will help you do that. If there's anything, or anybody, or a deaf child, or special needs, please let the city, it really helps out. I know these projects get loud, they get in your face, there's dust everywhere, and it's kind of a pain in everybody's butt, but once it's done, everybody will appreciate it. And with the little kids too, when they did my street, I had little ones, and I could not keep my boys off those bulldozers and stuff at night. So it happens, and common sense here, but it is the contractor's property, and it is everything, is his at night when the kids are there. But we all need to be safe and careful, and I'm just giving you a realistic kind of view of what's coming. So if you have a concern, please tell the city or the resident representative. It's a lot easier to take a look at it before it happens, because when something happens, it's hard to go back. So I just wanted to stress that again.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a neighbor, they can't get out right now. They both have heart conditions, and he's got cancer too. And he's going to the doctor every day.
Okay.
Do you know his address?
Yeah, 'cause we'll talk with them and try to get something organized.
2119. I think it's 2917.
Do you have to know the last name?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Try to get that.
Because
Yeah, because he's going to the doctor all the time.
It's every day.
Any other questions?
Is the road and the driveway going to be more or less accessible every day for the most part, or is there going to be like a week where you can't really go down the road or something?
When the approach is poured, it'll be fresh concrete,
Right.
so you'll have to stay off it
Well, yeah.
a few days while that gets hard enough that you can drive over. So there will be some periods when the big backhoe's going through and putting in new pipe where you can't get in. So there'll be some periods. We may have to park down the block and walk a short distance. It won't always be, the contractor do the best they can to get you to drive,
Block
but
off the road and say, road closed, or?
there won't be through traffic. They'll do that. You'll have to, if you go another
surprised today's the day we can't get down to our house? We'll know ahead of time, or?
As this project starts, there's gonna be different phases. You're gonna see some black pipe out there. That black pipe is gonna be the ductile iron water main. When they putting that in, that's the water part. So there'll be some, that'll be placed in there, and you'll see machines putting that in. There'll also be some green looking pipe. That's gonna be the sanitary source, so there'll be some interruption as they go past your driveway on that day. It may be the same day, it may be a different day, and then there'll be some gray concrete pipe that you'll see going in, that's the storm sewer. So those all have to go first, and then they'll move dirt all over the place, put in curbs. And those days you may be disrupted because that concrete's gotta settle, gotta cure. And then there'll be stone going down, and then asphalt, and then after the asphalt, most likely your driveway aprons and sidewalks. So there's gonna be various periods through this project that you might have a little, interruption as they go past your house. So that's kind of a little, okay, it's green pipe today they're going by, that's, just that little bit of information. They'll be going past it, but when the actual road gets built, the interruption might get a little bit longer.
When they're installing the pipework, they'll backfill and compact it, and you'll be able to re-access.
Yeah, maybe driving that stone.
So they'll put in the pipes first, they'll mill the road to the surface layer, but you'll still be able to drive on it. Then they'll start putting in the pipe work, and then after all the pipe work's done, then you'll see more of like the curb being removed and
We'll get some notices out by email, and I'm not a Facebook person, but I think we maybe, that, I know that's very popular, that may be a way to keep a day-to-day kind of update on what's going on. Because getting information out makes everyone's life a lot easier.
So what hours are you talking, like how early in the morning and how late?
you have
Generally, our crews will start around 8 in the morning, and then the day we try to be, in a residential area, we try to be out of there by 5 in the afternoon, 5, 6 at the latest if something's critical. Right, you may hear equipment early in the morning warming up for the day, but no Sunday work.
Gotta rest some kind.
So pretty much all the trees in the neighborhood are marked with red X's at this point. Since there's only one phase that's going on this first year, here this year, why are they cutting down all the trees right away?
Now, I've been out there and looked, and I think, from what I know, the red X's go here, and then instead of going just up to where we're stopping here, they keep going all the way up.
Yeah, they go all the way down Parkview.
So that's an error. Whoever marked the red X's, that's an error. It should only go up to here. I don't think the rest of the streets are marked,
I don't know.
I don't think Eastwood, Lawndale and Glenview are marked. So the trees will only come down in the phase we're doing.
Okay.
No point in taking
That's
them
what I
down.
wondered. Why would they cut those down if they're not doing that area?
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. You have a question?
School buses.
School buses are an issue. There may be a time when your child has to walk a little bit further to get down to an alternative bus stop.
My son has special needs and has to be picked up in front of the house.
Okay. Do you have your address, and we'll talk with the school about that and make sure that.
That's the kind of stuff
That's real helpful.
And the bus doors have to face our house. He can't cross the street.
Okay. We'll talk with the school.
Okay.
And see if we.
And he can get picked up on Boyd, because we're on the corner of Oakdale and Boyd. So he can get picked up on Boyd.
And I don't know how the school will want to do it. But
Right.
We'll try to make it work as best we can.
Okay.
The school will have some opinion on what they think is best, but.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? If not, we'll hang around and come up and talk and look at plans. If you got questions after you look at some of this, ask away.
Please
Thank you all
drive
for
the
coming.
construction, if you have any questions, the resident representative is out there, ask him, that's what he's there, he's the eyes and the ears of the city. So if he doesn't know the answer to your question, he will find out for you. And sometimes just as a resident, knowing what's coming is helpful. free to ask him anything.
And if you need to, the contractor will be out and around, and their foreman will be available, and you can go up and ask them if you need out of your driveway, or they can make special arrangements if they need to.
When are they gonna get started with it?
Do you have a question, Nick?
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned with how long it may take to get the rest of Parkview done. We've spent $500 in plumber repairs just this year alone, or 2015 alone. Our main sits like this, so we have not much room for sewage to go in. That's a big concern of mine, if it's gonna take several years. We don't have $500 every year to spend in plumbing repairs.
How far up Parkview are you?
Halfway.
Halfway?
We are too, and we have shit coming out of ours, cause ours collapsed.
Yours collapsed? Okay,
We're on 117.
117?
Yep, we got a forest in front of our house.
1117?
We had ours cameraed, and the plumber basically told us that they are off by half. The pipe and the main is off by half.
Yep.
And your address was?
110 Parkview.
Let me, go take a look at it and see if we can come up with something, and I'll come on back in contact. You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to, you have to live with it through another, let's see if we can figure something out.
Yeah,
Is the problem under the road, do you know?
Yes.
How about
It's
you, under
almost
the
to
road?
our neighbor's driveway.
It's the connection.
I know we just spent $195 right before Christmas, and our next door neighbor had them over today. It seems like once one neighbor does it, the next neighbor has to call, and so on down the road.
The sewer in here is all clay tile, and roots go right through the joints, and
Yep.
when you cut them out with an auger, they grow right back even better, so you're out there every single year cutting them out. The pipe we'll put in to the property line will be all PVC, pretty much immune to that problem. From your property line up to the house, you know, we can't really do work on private property, so it'll stop there. You'll have good pipe that gets to the property line.
Well, the time we had it camera, it was out to the main that the problem was.
Okay. Let me take a look and we'll talk it over, see if we can't figure out something in the meanwhile.
So when is the magic start?
Oh, when are you gonna start? Trees first?
Trees first, depending on the weather, we're looking at an early March start date.
Do you need a deposit place?
I'm sorry,
Do you need a place to put it,
for,
the tree? Cause my dad lives on a farm, he's
oh,
a farmer, out on
Okay.
104. He said he can take it if you
Okay.
guys.
well, before you leave, I'll get your contact information.
Okay.
Have you got a subcontractor taking the trees down?
Correct.
Do you have their name?
Yes, John's Tree Service out of Michigan City.
And they're going to grind the stumps, pull the
Correct.
stumps?
They are gonna grind the stumps.
Grind the stumps.
They'll, most likely, the remainder will come out when we're doing the reconstruction.
It's always worrisome to pull stumps up front because water lines and sewer lines
Correct.
kind of come out with them. So, okay, so that won't be.
On my street, there's no sidewalk, there's trees.
We'll hang around, if anyone's got questions, wants to talk, please.
Yeah, we can look at the.
Please leave your email address, if you want to be on the email like list, we'll inform you of what's going on with the project. You're not obligated to